to the 8th concession, our property here in Southern Ontario, Zone 5B. My name is Natalie. Well, I started out this gardening season being pretty much right on time, even a little bit ahead, and because I think we might have an early spring because we haven't had much of a winter, I was, really on top of things. And now I realize it's almost April. March has marched on by, and now I think I'm a little bit behind. I haven't even started my tomato plants. I forgot completely about my celery. So I have some work to do. So today is a seed starting day. I am unfortunately in my kitchen, which is the only place I have to do it. I am told that this is the year I am going to get my greenhouse. So I hope I can take you along on that journey with me. But for now, I'm stuck here doing it just on the table. But I thought today I would start with an update on my onion grow out that I'm doing with How Connie, and we could take a look at how the onions are doing. Here we are. They are still indoors, although I think if it stays like it is right now we're having just under freezing overnight and then warming up to 6 or 8 degrees Celsius during the day. I think I could actually put them out. I'm hesitating. The weather in spring in Southern Ontario is so changeable. I mean, we could still have another snow or ice storm. So I've been hanging on, but you can see how great they're doing. Now they're flopping over a bit. I really would prefer them to be in the ground now, but they are growing beautifully. So these are the 4 rows of the Stuttgarter Riesen or the Dutch onions. Some I grew from my own seed. I think that's these. And some I grew from the seeds that I bought a year ago. And they're both doing great. Not much difference. Some of the older seed is a little sparser, but it's not bad. And then over here are my leeks, which are also doing great. And really these should be in the ground. So hopefully I'm going to check the forecast and I'm going to see if I dare put them out. I don't want to lose them after they've done so well, but I don't want them to die because they don't have enough room or light in here either. So I am very encouraged. I see lots of delicious onions in my future. So I think after this I'm going to hop on over to @HowConnie and see how her onions are doing. She was planting hers directly outside because she's in a much warmer zone than I am. And it'll be fun to see how much farther along hers might be, being outside where they've got a lot more room and sun and warmth. But today is tomato day. So what I'm going to be starting this year, I don't have too many varieties. I'm trying to narrow down what I want to grow. So the first thing I'm going to grow is this new variety, Silvery Fir. This was the one that I found. It's an heirloom type, but it has very feathery type leaves. But the most important thing is it's supposed to be very blight resistant. And then those of you who've been following my channel know that here we have rather wet ground and blight is a constant threat here. Last year was horrible because we had a wet summer on top of wet ground. I'm hoping we have a drier summer this year. We still have wet ground though, so I'm hoping this might be the solution. So we're going to give those a try. And then I'm going to grow a couple more of these Matt's Wild Cherry Tomato. Now, again, those following last year know that I tried these and that the plants themselves were they were wild. The name was correct. They were indeterminate and they were growing everywhere. They really could have used a trellis, not even just a tomato cage. And I was going to give up on them thinking I didn't like their spreading habit. However, in a year of the worst blight I have ever dealt with, these had absolutely no blight on them at all, not even deep down at the oldest part of the plant. It was unbelievable. And I thought, I can't get rid of something that is so blight resistant. This year, I'm going to plant them next to a trellis of some kind so that they can grow as big and tall as they like. The cherry tomatoes themselves were very nice and sweet, very small. But I am going to do just a couple of these. You don't need many of these plants. They grow so large that you have tomatoes for days. So on top of that, oh, where are they? The other cherry tomato I want to try is here on this scrappy piece of wax paper, because I saved the seeds myself, and you can see these are from Tidy Treat. Now these seeds, the original seeds for last year, were given to me by my daughter-in-law. They are lovely, but they are hybrid, which means the two plants were crossed in order to get these seeds. So by planting these seeds, I'm not guaranteed to have the same kind of plant. However, I like them so much, I think it's worth giving them a try. And what I like about these cherry tomatoes is the plant is so compact and small. It's really lovely. It would be perfect in a pot. And I think I did grow one in a pot one year. Last year I had them in the garden. They did suffer a little bit from blight. They weren't the worst. I did get a lot of cherry tomatoes off them. So I am going to plant a few of these seeds I saved myself, just to see if I can get, you know, sort of get a plant similar to what they were. It's worth trying. So I'm going to do a couple of Tidy Treat and a couple of the Matt's Wild Cherry Tomatoes as the cherry tomatoes. Silvery Fir is going to be my slicing tomato. And then I have some seeds here that I've saved myself. This one is... So this one here, I can see my little paper inside. I don't think you'll be able to see it, but it says Cup of Moldova. And these are the plum tomatoes. I originally bought the seeds from this company, but I saved these myself. These are plum tomatoes. I really like them. They're prolific. Now the problem was last year they were affected by the blight as well, so I didn't get very many. But I do like it, and I think I'm just going to plant these again and just hope for a drier summer. So Cup of Moldova plum tomatoes. These, I have to take the little thing out. Oh, I know what these are. So these are some more tomato seeds that I kept myself, and these are Mountain Magic. I got these seeds a few years ago, and these are like a cocktail size tomato, really nice for salads, and they're very, very early. So these are some of the earliest tomatoes we eat. Now again, I think these are hybrid, but I did save them myself, and they did grow cocktail size again. So I'm gonna plant a few of the Mountain Magic cocktail size tomatoes. I have an old package of some cherry tomatoes, but I'm not going to grow them this year because I already have 2 varieties. So those are the 5 varieties that I will be growing this year. The other thing I'm going to be starting this morning are my celery seeds. Now I am definitely late with these. I just forgot about them completely. I hope that they have enough time to get started indoors before I plant them outside. Typically I do plant them, it's like teeny tiny plants, and they survive, so I'm going to plant them today. And I think the last thing I'm going to try and plant today, turn it right side up, this is celery root, and this is delicious in some of the soups I make, including potato soup. So last year I tried planting these directly in the ground and I got 0. So I think I'm going to try a few indoors to start and see if I have better luck with them. For some of my tomatoes, I'm actually going to start them in my eggshells here. Eggshells are great for tomato plants because the calcium in eggshells prevent blossom end rot. You can crush up eggshells and throw them in the bed where you're planting your tomatoes as well, which I will probably do later. I can't plant all my tomatoes in them because I only saved 12, but for some of them I will be starting them in there because I can just take them and plant them directly in the garden without having to take them out of the container. The rest will go in paper cups, and I'll write the variety on the side. And I think for my celery and celeriac or celery root, I still have some of these. I think they're pressed cardboard. They're not my favorite, but as I mentioned before, I have some left over. So I'm going to do the celery in here and probably the celery root as well. Well, that certainly was a good job done, although messy as usual. So the tomatoes are in. I really hope I'm not too late for the celery. I don't know, but I'm going to give it a try. That's all I can do, right? We do the best we can when it comes to our gardens. It's been a strange winter. It's hard to know when to start things this year, and then life gets busy. What are you going to do? Anyway, the tomatoes are started, so hopefully they'll have enough time to grow before it's time to put them in the garden. And hopefully I'll be getting into the garden soon, at least with the early crops like my cabbages, onions, and leeks. We'll have to see what the weather decides to do. Hope you're getting started on your gardening season too. Bye for now.